Hi, I'm Kylie,
Hi, I'm Shandy.
Hi, I'm Craig.
and this week we are traveling.
So we are bringing you this episode that we recorded for
Daniels.
and the Real
The
Hauntings
Real
podcast.
Hauntings podcast.
We hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Seance.
Hello and welcome to the Real Hauntings podcast, the podcast where we try to get down to the truth of what's behind these ghost stories. And we're here with Seance with my siblings.
Hi, I'm Craig. And I see dead people.
Hi, I'm Kylie, and I've got school spirits.
Hi, I'm Shandy, and I'm not Noah Daniels.
Welcome to the Seance.
And the Real Hauntings podcast.
All
All right.
right, let's jump into these stories. So, I'm going to start off with a couple childhood stories. The first one is of a little girl ghost in the mirror. I was a teen at this point, and definitely embraced my spooky self and being more tapped into letting ghosts show themselves to me. And being open to experiences, I would always see a lady in a white flowy dress with blue accents standing in the bathroom. And she would appear in the mirror. I never saw her, outside of the mirror for the most part. She was usually just
Like
kind of chilling
behind
in.
you?
Like
so,
you're looking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes it would just be, the bathroom door would be open and I'd be walking past in the hallway.
Okay.
And she'd be in the mirror as I'd pass
Right.
by,
Okay.
is what it was. And when I would be standing in the reflection with her, she would be staring at me, and she would stare at me when I would pass, and I would always just feel her presence every time I would be in that bathroom. And eventually I did quit seeing her and feeling her presence, but other people in the house would see her from time to time. You've seen her, right, Cuddy?
I saw her one time, yes.
Was she in the bathroom?
She was very much in the bathroom.
Very much in that damn haunted bathroom.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I've seen her outside of the bathroom as well, just in passing, just standing at the end of the hallway. I think another family member has also seen her doing that, who was across the hallway from me. Unless it was just a different ghost entirely, I'm not super sure.
Well, with your guys' haunted
Yeah.
house, who knows?
Literally.
Does this ghost have a crush on you, Craig?
I don't think so. It felt not bad, but uncomfortable. So it wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't necessarily friendly, but it wasn't evil scary.
She's tolerant of you being there.
Yeah, she's actually, this is my house.
Actually, it's not though, because our dad.
It's my bathroom, and you're just living in it.
Yeah, she's this is my mirror. Another earlier ghost story I had felt more like a dream, and maybe it was. I was with my mom while she was visiting someone who I can't remember, who was in Nephi. It was fall time because there were scattered leaves on the ground, and I remember playing through them. Whenever we would visit this place, there would be a little girl in a dress who I would always run around the house with and go into the spandler under the staircase area, in case you didn't know.
Spandler?
Spandler.
What is that? Is
It's
that what
under
it's
the stair
called?
space, yeah.
I learned a new thing.
Yes.
Spandrel?
Spandler, no, spandrel, oh my gosh. If I could English,
No,
I
that's
can't.
hard.
Yeah, English is no bueno.
This is at the end of a full work day too, so.
Yeah. You're getting mush for brains. We would ironically enough, tell scary stories, and she had this, do you know those campfire things with the paper, and it would blow a fan? Yeah.
The fire, the fake flames.
The fake flames, and it would be, just fake flames that had light, and we'd have that in there, and I would always we'd tell bizarre stories, but she would do most of the telling, and I would always feel very spooked and leave the closet first sometimes to not be followed. I'm not sure if this was a ghost girl or maybe someone who I know and I haven't seen for a long period after stopping going to the house. Yeah, and it felt so much like a dream, but also like so real.
Isn't that sometimes how like long ago ghost encounters feel though?
I mean, yes, definitely, 100%. I feel like it could have been a time slip almost even, or like something like that. Because like I've had other experiences there that felt like dreams, like but they were in Nephi. So it was just like interesting. But yeah, like other ghosts I see, like I see black shadowy figures always in the corner of my eyes. I had a ghost in my college dorm who would turn on and off the lights, kind of like you'd hear their footsteps walking around the hallway, and it wasn't like the upstairs because that was a distinct different sound, and it wasn't my roommate. But yeah, I've seen those, and there was also one in that dorm that was like in the bathroom who would turn off the light when I was showering and like getting ready for the day. So that was always fun. Kind of an asshole, but it's okay.
Bathroom ghosts do be
Bathroom
like
ghosts?
perving in the shower.
They were like, no light for you, and just turn it off. So,
Just like that.
yeah, exactly.
And you've used your allotted amount of hot water.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, those are some of a few recent and a few in the past ghost stories.
Fun, Craig.
Yeah.
That ghost girl
so-
under the stairs is wild.
She's wildin.com.
Yeah, I'm so curious about who that
Like
was.
who? Yeah. I almost wonder if it was at the house across the street.
You weren't born yet when I babysat for Leanne, so that can't be right.
But maybe not Leanne, maybe just the house in general, and it was grandma and like her like extended family's children. Like, and it could have for sure been a ghost because the parents have said they've seen a little ghost girl there too.
And you left under the stairs and no one followed you out.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
So
like-
it was for sure a ghost.
You know how kids are. They
Yeah.
they follow each other.
No, they just wouldn't like stay.
No, they wouldn't
and
just
be
stay under the
creepy.
stairs by
No,
themselves.
with their little fire thingy. No.
Yeah, no.
Very interesting.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm so curious.
So curious.
I've got some stories for you. I work at a very, very haunted college. I'm often one of the first or only people on campus on Friday mornings. I have a favorite bathroom on the second
As you
floor.
should.
As you should. Slay.
Yes. The weird thing, though, about this bathroom at this college is that there's a little entryway with a light, but the other light switch for like the whole bathroom is on the other side of the bathroom itself. So one morning when I was there alone, I walked into that second story bathroom and I flipped on the first dim light in the little entryway. As I made my way to the other side of the bathroom, I saw a full body apparition of a woman dressed in formal work attire.
Ooh. Get that power suit, girl.
Hell yeah.
So it was a khaki skirt and like a purplish shiny shirt.
She ate.
Sexy.
Yes. Her bangs were in the typical 90s wave and she was
Mhm.
smoking a cigarette.
She was the office hottie.
She was the office hottie, for sure. She looked just as surprised to see me as I was to see her. And just like that, she was gone. I don't know if it was a ghost or a time slip or someone who used to work at this college when it was a dental school. But on my drive home, I made another connection to something odd about those bathrooms.
Good.
So every now and then, there have been complaints of the smell of smoke in that bathroom. And students even got a warning not to smoke in the building. But I wonder if there's any connection between the smoking woman and the phantom smell of
Oh,
smoke.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
There has to be. And it's just so funny. It's like a college full of nursing students.
I
So it's like, you
know.
guys, stop smoking indoors.
I know. You can't do this. Especially, we've got oxygen tanks there and stuff.
Good thing it's only a spectral cigarette.
Yes.
I don't think those can still start fires, right?
Hopefully not.
Right.
I love
Hopefully
that
not.
story. I bet you guys were both very surprised.
So surprised.
So
It
surprised.
was, it was super cool. I was so excited about it. I even, took a picture in the bathroom a day or two later and caught a weird anomaly in that same area where I saw the woman. One of my favorite
That
ghost
is
stories.
such a cool experience. So cool.
Another experience I had was with a student. We were in the lab completing a skills pass off, and just as we were wrapping up, a tall, white, spectral figure made its way into the lab. Did you see that? I asked as the student turned to me, wide-eyed. She raised her arm to show me the goosebumps on her own arm. She shook her head and was like, what do we do? She was pretty shaken up, but I told her just to send in the next student.
Kylie the badass is like, yeah, it's just a ghost. It's cool. Just send in the next one.
And she's like freaking out.
Screaming, crying, throwing up.
I did end up walking her back to the classroom.
She's like, don't leave
She's
me
like, Kylie,
alone.
please.
Yeah.
I wonder if that is her first real, like, kind of full body, seeing experience.
I don't know. I should have asked her.
That would be
but she
interesting
was
to-
very, very spooked.
It must have been then.
Or
like,
one of very few.
Yes.
Yeah, once you get used to it, like, they might startle you because you're not expecting to see them, but it's not scary anymore.
Yeah, but most people
No.
aren't like
Expecting
seeing ghosts all the time, yeah.
Oh, so the weird ones?
No.
You have the best stories about your college.
Just this place is haunted. Like, it's bananas how haunted this place is. And I have an absolutely wild experience.
Oh, I'm so excited
that
to
just
hear
happened
this.
to me just the other day. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
This one's
Yes.
spooky. I was in the LPN lab, a different lab, and I had just sent the students on break. I was throwing back some coffee and a little snacky snack,
As you
enjoying
should.
the quiet, when something very odd caught my eye. Crouched on top of the PPE shelf, which is personal protective equipment, if you don't know what PPE is, was what looked like a little boy.
No, thank you.
It was wearing shorts and a red shirt with a white and blue image on the front that I couldn't quite make out.
Oh, it wasn't a Victorian child.
No, it was like
Interesting.
modern, like
The ghosts are upping their game.
They're
They're
no
upping
more
their game.
Victorian era.
what happens next is like something out of The Conjuring.
Oh.
The kid shifts his weight on his feet a couple of times and pushes itself forward, jumping from the shelf.
Gross.
I hate that it like shifted and
It,
like got ready
getting
to pounce.
ready. Like, if you've ever watched a kid get ready to jump, it was literally just like that. And this isn't like a super high shelf, it's like a 3-drawer waist high shelf. There was a loud thump as the ghost child impacted the ground, and I was so sure that like someone was gonna come and see what happened because it sounded like something falling. And as the kid hit the ground, he started running, like just
Booking it.
booking it. He runs out the door, disappearing as he goes.
Through like the doorway.
Through the doorway. Yeah. The sound of his feet hitting the ground was heavy and loud and continued even after he had vanished.
Gross.
It
It was like reverberating.
it was
even when he
reverb,
gone.
yes.
So this like thing had solid mass.
Or something.
Because this was not a little boy.
No.
No.
It took me a minute to gather myself after.
Yeah, I would have been
experiencing
shitting my
that.
pants. I would have pooped my pants at work that day.
Yeah. My heart was hammering in my chest and it didn't stop for a little while. It was intense.
That's I would rather see the 90s power suit lady
Yeah.
any day.
And dude, at this place I have never seen so many like full body. There's something going on at this college.
We got to get to
It's
the
on the
bottom
ley
of what's
line.
going on at this college.
For real, for real. And just like several small things have happened here and there. Flashes of light, orbs, shadows in the corner of my eye. The paper towel dispensers going off when nobody's in the room. Doors creaking a little bit open or a little bit closed. Footsteps can be heard when nobody's in the hallway. And an ever-present feeling of being watched.
That one's always a little unnerving.
Yeah. The campus has also experienced a lot of technical issues that may or may not be related, such as alarms going off without cause, computers switching off or on without being touched, and simulation cameras stopping for no reason.
It's definitely related.
I always like to be a little skeptical with technology, but it's
Yeah.
definitely related.
Yes. Well, I don't know about you guys, but technology misbehaves around me specifically all the time.
I don't
Like,
get that one. I
It's
shouldn't tell us a
horrendous.
little.
It's horrendous.
And there was another instructor who used to work there. She doesn't work there anymore, sad day. But she also swore up and down that the place was haunted. And they had heard people like talking in the storage room that used to be a cadaver lab on multiple occasions. They also had similar experiences with like the lights and shadows and footsteps.
I love when you can get validation like that
Oh,
from
yeah.
someone
Yes.
else. Definitely. Yeah.
I miss my spooky coworker.
It's always so sad
It
when your spooky
is.
coworker leaves you
Yeah.
and you have no one else to be spooky with. I always like to convert my non-spooky coworkers into spooky coworkers.
Yes.
There we go. Just slowly start. Hey, do you guys
Did you
think
hear
this
that?
place is haunted?
Yes. Hey, do you guys want a spell jar? Do you guys need some moon water to cleanse your office?
They back
Maybe,
away
maybe.
soon.
I come in the next day with like crosses on my door and like holy water.
The witch!
Oh man.
Oh, good times.
Yeah, but that's my haunted work stories for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see
That was
your haunted
spooky.
work stories that are really awesome and raise you with my haunted work stories that are not as awesome.
Oh, whatever. I'm so excited to hear your haunted work
I
stories.
mean, you guys have already heard this.
I'm excited
But
to
I'm
hear
going to
them
start with
again.
this. Okay. So at my work, I am a therapist, so there's therapy offices, right? And then there's a huge group room. And attached to that group room is a kitchen area. So one morning, I am avoiding thinking about going to our morning meeting. And I'm heating up some breakfast and I'm minding my own business. And I get there earlier than I have to be, so I can leave earlier than I am scheduled to. Because I'm an asshole like
Period.
that. And I hear boom.
Ooh.
And I am like looking around thinking I have a coworker that's kind of funny and we tease each other and he calls me a witch and says I'm going to hell and I say, yeah, but you'll be in the back seat of the car I'm driving to hell. And he's like, hell yeah, I will.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, so I'm wondering if it's him, but this boo did not sound like him. This sounded like the image I get is a big, broad guy with a beard named Bob.
Bob.
Yes. And
Roll
so
it.
I'm looking around, and a lot of these lights are on sensors in this building, like the kitchen light is. The hallway is all dark, the group room is all dark, everything is all dark. And like I said, I was one of the first people there at work that day.
Oof.
And so when I get to morning meeting, I ask the man who I thought it might be, I was like, hey, when you got in, was anyone else in, like any other guys in the building? And he's like, nope, just me.
Ooh.
And I know he wasn't there because I looked. Because I looked.
You're like, excuse me, sir.
Investigate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I can't, oh shoot, I wish I would have written this down. I think it was the week after that happened. I'm sitting in my office, minding my own business. It's the end of the day. Only me and another woman are in that hallway. There's two men that do have offices in that hallway, but they're running a group right then. So they are far away. And I have my office door shut, and I'm just wrapping up notes, and I hear, hey. And so I like
Like, excuse me.
look around, door's still shut, didn't open. It's not a quiet door. And it's just Bob again saying, hey.
Freaking Bob.
Freaking Bob.
Yeah,
That's wild.
so that was cool. One of the most, I think, upsetting because I was young and home alone ghost stories I have is like a series of them because it was in a house here, still in the little town we live in, but it was the house that your mom, my stepmom, and our dad lived in when they first got together. And so, but this happened before he even knew her. This is when I first moved into this house to live with him and my ex-stepmom. Okay. So, it's an old house. And before we moved into it and renovated it, it had been empty, I would say, for over a decade, at least.
Okay, so that's got some stagnant
Mhm.
something or other in there.
And there was a silly residual haunting in there that Dad would always hear. He would always hear like a family up and like having breakfast.
Is that the Charlie Brown voices
Yes.
one? Okay.
Yes, and this family, he couldn't make out what they were saying. It sounded like he described it as the adults in Charlie Brown, like wah, 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 and like hearing dishes clatter and breakfast sounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is that house. But there was an intelligent haunting there too, not just a residual. So in this house, the circuit, like the breaker box, the circuit box, was in this old laundry room that had been added onto the house after the fact. Because I think when this house was built, they wouldn't have had modern washers and dryers. So this little gross laundry room was added on after, and electricity, I'm sure, was added in probably after this house was built.
Wow.
Yeah,
So wild.
it was really old. So I would be home alone because Dad worked at the coal mine. And so back in the long, long ago, there were no streaming services. I know. And Dad was too cheap to spring for the cable TV.
Sounds about right.
So all we had were the 3 channels that came in with our little rabbit ear TV, right? Like KUED, PBS, and Fox 13. That was it. 3 very different channels. Well, KUED and PBS, those were very similar. But Fox 13, very different. So I would be home watching TV. I would be watching like Seinfeld, because that was on ad nauseum at this point in time. And I would go into the kitchen to get like a snack or a drink or whatever, and I'd come back and it would clearly be on PBS. It would be on like Antiques Roadshow.
Okay.
And this would happen all the time. All the time. And
He wanted to watch Antiques Roadshow.
and I was an asshole and I wanted to watch Seinfeld. And I'm like, I'm the living one, so we're watching what I want.
How dare you?
I've always been a dick like that. So this would happen all the time. The rudest thing this ghost ever did, though. Like, yes, it was an old house, but Dad had put new wiring in it. So if you overloaded the circuits, obviously they did flip the breaker, right? But how does one TV and one light in the living room flip a breaker? Electricians, explain it to me, please.
Let us know.
Anyway, so at nighttime, of course, because it only happened at night,
Of course.
this fucker would flip the breaker, and this box was at the very end of this long, old, scary laundry room.
Of course it was.
And of course I'm home alone, in the dark, freaking the fuck out. And I would have to go and flip that fucking breaker. So I would be like, like butt so clenched, making diamonds.
Oh my god.
And then, you have to like scuttle your way through all of Dad's like horse tack and Dutch ovens and all his bullshit
Yep.
to the back to flip it again. And if you were smart, you remembered to flip on the light in that room. So as soon as you flipped the breaker, that light would come on. And finally, I just got smart enough to leave a flashlight.
There
Oh,
you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big brain.
Big
Brain.
But that happened a few times until I finally had like a little heart-to-heart. I was like, please don't do that. That is too scary. Change the TV channels, but please stop turning the lights off on me. I'm home alone. I'm already scared. And then it didn't happen anymore.
That was
yeah.
The
nice. that they
TV channels
stopped.
still changed. Yeah. Well, that's how it
Thank
goes,
God.
though, right? A lot
Yeah.
of times when you talk to them, like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, usually
You
if you
guys-
like communicate,
yeah,
like you would, if I told Craig to stop turning off the lights,
Just talk to ghosts.
he would
Yeah.
probably stop. Probably
Yeah.
stop turning
Not
off the
probably,
lights.
Savage.
But this particular ghost did. I don't think they realized how scary that would be.
They forget.
They forget, just like we would forget. Like, I would tease Luke and turn off the light down here, and then he would freak out, and I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, you're 9. This is scary. Sorry,
This
buddy.
is scary.
Not that I would really do that. I do not do that.
Shandy just every day.
She's like,
So yeah, those
Yeah.
are some of our stories. And
Thanks for having us
Yeah,
back.
thank you, and congratulations to you and your wonderful little family, Noah. We're so happy for you guys.
exciting.
Yeah,
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
Another little human.
Aw.
Aw, with like loving, awesome parents.
Mhm.
I love
Aw.
it. I love it.
Love it.
fresh baby smelling lotion.
I thought you were going to say fresh baked.
Fresh baked.
I mean,
no.
it kind of
Fresh
is.
baked.
Yeah.
Fresh baked human.
Fresh baked human.
Oh my god.
I know, I'm so
we're
sorry.
sorry.
Anyway, thank you for joining us.
We have some socials if you're down.
Yeah,
We
do.
have a TikTok, an Instagram, a Tumblr, and a YouTube channel.
Yes.
At Seance with my siblings.
Yeah.
And you can listen to our silly, witchy, paranormal podcast anywhere you get your podcasts.
Seance with my siblings.
I'm Shandy.
I'm Craig.
And I'm Kylie.
Ooh.
Bye-bye now.